this next section I have ready is how do we talk about this game without getting super, super spoilery. So what I've written down in the running order is Uncharted 4 is a great game, ... discuss.
Okay.
So I completed it last night. No spoilers here whatsoever. Not going to get into that. You guys are like getting into it.
How many chapters? Because I've not completed it.
I don't want to say.
Okay, so I'm 10 chapters in.
Okay. You're probably halfway.
Okay.
Yeah, around halfway.
I'm 11 chapters in.
Okay. You are also probably halfway.
Yes.
What are your initial sort of feelings on it, Peter? Mike Mahardy obviously reviewed it for us, 10 out of 10 on GameSpot.com. You fan of the series already coming into this? What do you think of it?
Nope.
Nope.
I played the original Uncharted for about 2 hours and thought, man, this game plays like ass. I'm done. But
did you play 2 or 3?
No.
Okay.
Never got a chance.
They're a lot better than 1.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. But now I kind of want to go back, honestly. If they're anything like Uncharted 4, which for me, what really struck me was the pacing is really, really good. And the sort of different beats that it hits, they really inspire a sense of awe in so many ways. Like whether it is a small interaction between two characters, and that could be either someone reacting in a way you don't usually see, or a character being oddly flawed when you sort of look at them as someone who is supposed to be like the impeccable hero, right? But then it's the incredible landscapes and the vistas and the action moments that sort of appear, not really out of the blue, but in such a way that just feels like, wow, where did this come from? I'm in the middle of it right now. And then I'm swinging from a rope over an ocean with like storms brewing. And it's like, it's a very magical experience. It's not something that I look to as a mechanically challenging or risky game.
Right.
But that's okay. I don't think every game has to be that. And for what Uncharted does, I can't say I've played a game that does that aspect as well in terms of the pacing and the attention to detail.
What do you think, Ben?
It's obviously a phenomenal game, and I think what is so special about Uncharted 4, I love the previous Uncharted games. They get a lot better after the first one. The first one, you know, it was an extension of that post Tomb Raider, Indiana Jones, you know, tomb raiding, dungeon delving, you know, pushing buttons on statues and making stuff happen. As it's progressed, they've introduced more of a story to it, but it's still very much been, certainly in 2 and 3, straight up action set pieces. I think the real triumph of 4 is to meld together what they do so well with action, which is, I mean, I think they're the best in the business in terms of straight up action set pieces on in the console generation, combined with real emotional weight. And they do some stuff, not to talk specifically about the story, but there is stuff very early on that's introduced which gives Drake's actions, that gives the characters the tomb raiding, if you want to call it that, the treasure hunting stuff, real weight and real emotional purpose. And that's obviously stuff they've learned from doing the Uncharted games, but also doing, you know, The Last of Us, and, you know, like that stuff I think has really shown how much that stuff has bled through. You know, there's obviously, you can easily go, they've introduced some stealth stuff, more stealth stuff from Last of Us, but I think the real thing that they've brought over from those games is the emotional way that those games have.
Yeah.
And so in between the great action set pieces, there is real drama that you actually care about. And it's the first time in the series, I would say, that there has been real drama that has real consequences and really matters for the characters. And that is what I think contributes to it being such a really great package.
Yeah, I totally agree. The story stuff that they talk about as well is very sort of, like, it's not grandiose, it's not end of the world stuff, it's just simple human problems. And it's ridiculous that a game which involves you murdering hundreds of people has this, like, you know, beautiful little core to it, this like emotional little story happening in the middle of it. And that's what made me, like, for a game, like Peter said, for a game that, like, mechanically isn't like reinventing the wheel by any means, it's a competent shooter. And I actually like the traversal in it. I think it's a bit more simple than something like Tomb Raider, and I actually like it for it. But for a game that has that sort of, doesn't have that moment to moment amazing, you know, core gameplay, I felt propelled to keep playing it all the time because the story stuff was so good. And I don't know, I think after years of playing games, you kind of get a little bit burnt out on new environments, or maybe they don't hit as hard as it was. But there's something about this game that it's gorgeous, first of all, but just the design and this way stuff looks is just, I want to see more of it. It was like I was
beautiful.
on holidays and I wanted to go for a walk to enjoy it all.
Well, also, I mean, the previous games have always had variety of location. I mean, just in the first 3 hours of playing this game, I think you visited like 4 countries, you know, 3 different environments, and it's amazing what it keeps throwing at you. And well, you tell us if it keeps throwing that at you all the way through. But certainly where I'm at, you know, however far into the game, I feel like it's always throwing something new at me. You know, which obviously great game design should do. It should always, you know, you shouldn't be coasting too long. You should always be introducing new mechanics and new stuff. And I mean, it's, you know, they're also masters of getting the most out of current console
this
generations.
game looks incredible.
I mean, it is.
I can't believe
I can't think of anything else that looks as good as this, or has looked as good as this on any console generation comparatively. You know, it's like it really is just mind blowing how good this game looks.
Looks perfect. I mean, it was funny, we were talking last week about how, you know, you can't talk about any good looking video game without somebody mentioning the 3060 thing. This game exists like perfectly in 30 frames a second. It's a cinematic experience, and there was never a moment where I thought, oh, I wish this was like more fluid. It looks unbelievable. Like, I mean, we were talking about the PlayStation 4.5 stuff. It's like this console is all right. Like, if somebody can get this out of the console, then like we're not doing too bad. Between this and Doom, it's almost like restored my faith in the current generation of consoles.
It's detail they throw in, like leaves just dropping from the trees, or dust being thrown up and being caught by the sunlight. You know,
wait till you see the mud.
Oh,
with the car tracks, it's like, oh my god.
Well, I remember the car chase demo from E3.
Right,
and that set piece. I mean, I was sat in a theater watching that with Randy, and like it finished, and I just went, well, "That's the greatest action set piece I've ever seen in being demoed to me at like at E3." I mean, it's incredible. Like,
And yet they had the time to throw in all these ridiculous like modes, like things you can turn on after the fact,
right?
To like play the game, you know, in a kaleidoscope world or whatever the hell. I don't know what they are, but it's just incredible to me. Like for the lengths they go that most studios never have the time or money to go. They still found ways to go above and beyond those expectations we have from a studio like Naughty Dog. Yeah,
it's incredible. It's a great game.
Have you played the multiplayer yet?
I have not even touched it.
Yeah, I suspect that's the case for a lot of people.
I mean, Uncharted 3's multiplayer was better than I was expecting. I enjoyed it, and I think a lot of PlayStation, we talked about it a bit last week, about like certain PlayStation fans were that was a really good sort of scoop for them, because like a lot of Xbox people were playing Gears of War, and it was fun. You know, this is a game that was worth the asking price regardless of if the multiplayer is even there, so I'm sure I'll jump into it at some stage, but kind of like Doom, actually, I'm fine with this as it is.
And it's, in terms
I'll replay it. I'll happily replay Uncharted, and I would never replay a third-person action game, but this is the whole totally
I'm already wanting to go back and replay stuff that I've played up to this point. I mean, it's certainly the best console exclusive I can remember in a very long time. In terms of, you know, console wars and what we talk about, things making the difference to it being a system seller. I mean, this is it, right?
If Sony needed to sell more systems, this would do it, but they're already in a pretty good situation. So you guys excited to jump back in? Are you interested in playing the multiplayer at all, or are you just happy to get the campaign over and done with?
I mean, I may dip in and try it, but I mean, there's so many other multiplayer games that I'm more interested in playing right now or about to come out.
TikTok, Overwatch.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, there are, you know, and I'd like to dig into Doom a little bit and play some of that. I'm actually really enjoying Battleborn still. So, I mean, it's not like there's a shortage of multiplayer stuff to do right now. So, I think it's going to be a single player experience for me.
Yeah, same.
Cool.
No interest.
Yeah. All right, there you go. Uncharted 4. A spoiler-free little chinwag about that one. Mike will be sad he wasn't here for this chinwag.
I was going to say.
Poor guy. Snooze, you lose. You can read his review and get his thoughts on Uncharted 4 at GameSpot.com. It got a 10 out of 10, and I think all three of us at the table would agree that is very, very, it was very, very worth it.